Hi guys, my name is Saba, and I'm on here wanting to talk to you guys about something really important to me. This is probably my third take because the last two times didn't work out. The first time I was crying uncontrollably. So I'm going to go ahead and try again and pretty much pour my soul out to complete strangers, hoping that this will help someone who's probably going through a rough time. If you've lost someone, and then you know what I'm talking about. And that's pretty much what I'm going to discuss is the loss of my heart, my sister. She was the most amazing individual ever. She was only 32 when she passed. Her name is Sadaf. And my family and I have to say, this was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. And I've seen some things. So I will say this, that I hope that you listen and this helps someone out there. And if it does, that's all that matters. If it just helps one person, here goes. She was only 32. We got a call from the hospital that they were looking for the next of kin, which usually is not a good phone call because that means that something's really wrong with them. I cried the whole way in ways that I've never cried before to the hospital. We got to the hospital. She was on life support, and nothing can prepare you for seeing your loved one on life support. It's probably the hardest thing you'll see. She was on life support for 9 days. The doctors were doing tests, trying to figure out, what, if she would come back to us and what the brain activity was like, etc. And all the tests were not coming up very favorable. So it was just 9 days of talking with doctors, figuring things out with the hospital, just figuring out what was the best for my sister. And my parents, they we're going through the roughest time too, because that's just not natural to, it's just not natural. Your parents are supposed to are not supposed to outlive our children. So that was really rough on them. I'm pretty much the one under pressure that keeps it together, and I just kept, kept it going and try to be calm for the family. And I chose to mourn at night when I was at home by myself, very quietly, just because I felt like I had to really keep protecting my family and just keep it going and keep strong for them, especially my parents with everything that they've gone through in their life. 9 days came by, and intermittently the hospital was saying they needed to get her off life support, but we kept pushing because we wanted to have all the tests done. And finally, when it came around 8th or 9th day, they really pushed and said that there's no brain activity and this is what they were going to do. So they went ahead and arranged for her life support to be removed from my sister on the morning of the 9th day that she was in. And I held my baby sister along with the rest of the family, and I told her it was okay for her to go and that we loved her very much and that it's okay not to be afraid and it's okay to let go. So we were there when she was going, and I miss her. I miss her very much. What I want to share that I think is really important about this whole process is what happens to us who are left without our loved one, whether it's your sibling, a friend, our family. It's tough. It's really tough because now you have to pick up the pieces and you have to go on. How do you look at family pictures again? I couldn't look at I still have a hard time looking at family pictures with all of us together, so innocently happy, not knowing that death is going to take my sister. And it just killed me to even look at pictures. It hurt to, and still hurts when there's big family functions and my immediate family is all there, but we're not all there. We're missing a very vital piece to our family. How do you go to places that you went to with your sister? How do you see people that were her friends? How do you, my hard thing was just going around people that knew that, because I was just like, I can't face this. Like the I'm sorry. It's just like, I couldn't, because that just kept probing and kept pushing, and I just couldn't deal with it. So I basically withdrew. I withdrew big time. I didn't want to be around people that knew. It was much easier to be in a work environment with clients that didn't know what was going on and what happened. That was much easier because I don't know. I really don't know. It just felt like it was separated somehow in my head. So I withdrew from a lot of people, and I started to go into a really dark place, and that's what I really want to talk to you about. I went to a dark place, a place of lack of forgiveness. It was dark. It was dark, and if you've gone through this or going through it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I was there for a while. I didn't know if I would ever come out of it. And I think the hardest time I was having with everything was how I treated her. I'm basically the tough one in the family. I'm the elder sibling. I was tough on my sisters. I was aggressive. She worked with me, so I was like a tough person. And I had to deal with not fixing myself prior to her passing. And it was just a horrible place to be, because I was thinking, oh, I could have been nicer. I could have said I love you more. I could have cherished her. I could have adored her more. I could have not argued with her. I could have, all these things that we're left with when loved ones pass away. It's a shoulda, coulda, woulda, and it consumed me. It basically was me. It took me into a dark place. I couldn't forgive myself. And I'm here to say that a couple things helped me. One thing was I talked to a friend, and this friend, she basically said, Saba, that's not the reality. Is that what your sister would want? Would she want you to think about her and your relationship with her? I doubt that's what she would want you to focus on. And that was true. My sister would not want me to focus on the negative of the relationship. She would not want that. She was too loving. She was the most unconditional loving person I've ever met in my life. So when my friend was talking to me, that got me thinking, you know what? This isn't about me. If I really love my sister and I really, really cherish her, then I'm going to do what she would do. She would focus on the love and the purity of that emotion that we had for each other, and focus on the unconditional part of it. Why do I have all these conditions on myself? Am I not lovable anymore? Because it felt like that. No, my sister would still love me. Now, it's hard. It's hard to forgive yourself. It's really easy sometimes to forgive someone outside of you for anything. But when you have to forgive yourself, let me tell you, I had to dig deep, and I had to dig really deep, because it was consuming me, and I didn't want it to be about me. So I basically kept talking to my friend. She helped me through it a lot. I started making sure that I was feeding all my senses with positive things. Believe it or not, I really started watching with the people I connected with. The biggest change for me was a friend of mine that accidentally introduced me to a diffuser, and I was just diffusing stuff just because it was smelling right. I was just doing it for the smell, because I like the smell. I never could be around perfumes or like harsh sprays, because I would get migraines. So I just kept this diffuser going just because it smelled good. And before you knew it, my outlook started shifting, and it shifted pretty aggressively for about within 30 days. I was really seeing a shift of like all of a sudden looking at things a little bit more constructively. And I had to attribute it to two things. One was obviously this friend of mine just saying, look, this is not what your sister would want you to do. And two, to really keep it going, was feeding all my senses with positive things. I had to stop eating the way I was eating because I was out of control, trying to self-medicate the depression. With food, I was just watching negative things, focusing on death. And really, what I needed to do was focus on the life of my sister, to focus on the life that she left behind, to focus on the memories that she left behind. Not all the half empty glass thoughts. I needed to pick myself up. And I'm here to say, feed your senses correctly. Meaning, if it's bad food that you're eating and it's not full of energy, it's not alive, cut it out. If you're not talking to people that are, how do I say this? Looking at life in a good way, or a positive way, I should say. You might want to look at that, because that feeds into your energy, and that just basically takes over from there, and it's a catalyst. One feeds the other one feeds the other. I kept on with my diffuser 10 to 12 hours a day. I work from home. I have a business from home. I just kept on with it, and I still do it to this day. Some people do antidepressants, and that's fine. Some people do need it. But I wanted to go the natural route. And when I started noticing the changes in my emotion and the days that I didn't diffuse, and I could see that I started to dip and my thoughts would get a little out of control, I started diffusing some more. So I'm here to say that you will make it. And every day is hard. It's been 4 years. I still cry like it was yesterday, but you'll make it. You just need to believe and need to focus on the good things about your relationship, because I can tell you this, your loved one that's gone, no matter how you left the relationship, I'm sure that they will be at a place of forgiveness. So why not forgive yourself? Everyone that loses someone has some sort of regret, whether they spent enough time with their loved one, whether they were nice, did they say I love you, were they arguing and then they passed, all these horrible things. But that's not what defines your relationship. What defines your relationship are the good times. She was my sibling. Siblings argue, siblings fight. It is what it is. But that's not what a relationship's about. If I passed away, would I want her to think about No, I would want her to think about how much I loved her. That's what I would want her to think about. And I have to say, I refuse to let her go without me learning anything. So I thought, you know what? I want to learn. And I actually took away from this that I need to be more gentle. I need to be more gentle with people around me. I need to be more gentle with myself. I need to love more. And it was like, I think there's a saying by Rumi that where the hole is, there has to be hurt for the light to come through. And I will tell you this, the light came through. I really have to say that the person I am today versus when she passed, I pour a lot of love into a lot of relationships that needed it. It was an eye-opener. And I love my sister. I miss her. I'm not excited about the way I was and so bossy with her and, typical older sister. But I am focusing on just what we were. And we were two loving sisters. So that's my choice, and that's what I'm sticking with for the reality, because that's what we were. All these other situations didn't define the relationship. And it's not about me. Oh, boo-hoo me. I wasn't a good sister. I wasn't this. No. It's about the relationship and who she was and who we were. And who we were, we're 4 siblings, and I'm the eldest of 4. And yeah, I'm tough on my sisters, but that's not what defines me. What defined our relationship was the love that we had for one another and the good times. That's the memories I chose to focus on. So hopefully this helps someone, and feel free to leave a comment. Love you guys. Take care.